So a lot of people in my personal life and real life want me to get back into making videos on health and the supplements I take. And some of the supplements that I take, I started taking them again about 2 years ago, are the branched chain amino acids. And particularly, I take a little extra leucine. And people that are who's who in the biogerontological community have been advising that we restrict branched chain amino acids due to this idea that branched chain amino acids might increase mortality. But I don't really think it's the branched chain amino acids themselves, and I'm going to make a case for why I supplement with branched chain amino acids, in particular leucine on top of the other branched chain amino acids, isoleucine and valine. Now, the reason why is branched chain amino acids are required for many functions in the body, and you don't want to risk getting too little of these amino acids because it can make you very ill. One of the most important things that branched chain amino acids do is, for as far as aging is concerned, but they keep your skin healthy and all that, is they help to initiate muscle protein synthesis. Now, the reason you need muscle protein synthesis, which is a fancy way of saying it primes your body to make muscle. A lot of the reasons that people die as they get older is they get weak, okay? So the best ways to improve muscle protein synthesis is aggressive exercise with strength training. It doesn't necessarily have to be heavy weights, but you do have to be lifting weights to gain muscle, and that helps with protein synthesis, but you need the raw materials, the amino acids, to make that muscle. And also the branched chain amino acids, particularly leucine, prime the body to make muscle. Now, a lot of people have promoted, such as Dr. Greger, some people have promoted a low-protein diet. Now, I've mentioned about how years back, I followed a high-protein diet, high-protein omnivore diet, high-protein vegetarian diet, high-protein vegan diet, and I thrived on all these. And then I tried the low-protein, low-fat starch solution by Dr. John McDougall, and I got very sick very quickly, okay? Now, whether it was just the diet or whether there were other factors that played a role, I don't know entirely, because I was going through a lot of stress at that point in my life, although I have gone through a lot of stress at other times in my life, okay? But the point that I'd like to make is that a starch-centered diet is nutritionally deficient in many ways, okay? And when I started adding the higher protein and now higher fat, high monounsaturated fat and things like that back into my diet, with a lower overall caloric intake, I have been getting healthier much more quickly. And I plan on getting even healthier, of course. But the point is that I don't think the branched chain amino acids are the problematic factor. Because the reason why is this. When people eat a high-protein diet, generally speaking, they're getting this protein from animal sources. Now, when you're consuming animal sources of protein, you're getting a lot of other things, like E. coli. You're getting a lot of salmonella. You're getting a lot of endotoxins. You're getting a lot of cholesterol. You're getting a lot of saturated fat. You're getting a lot of other things. And then other people that follow, and people that follow a higher protein diet tend to also eat a lot of sweets, a lot of sugar. It's just a meat and sweet diet does not promote health. An overall high protein diet, when the protein comes from vegetable matter, such as legumes, particularly soybeans, and other legumes, and whole grains, you see an extension of the lifespan and a decrease in overall mortality. Whereas, so the source of the protein seems to be what matters, not so much the protein itself. Okay, now does this have to do with the amino acid profile? I actually don't think so. I think it has to do with other factors. Now, I don't know this. I'm not a scientist. I'm not studying this. But it seems to me to do with other factors, particularly because plant protein foods vary immensely in their amino acid profiles. Whole grains have vastly different amino acid profiles than legumes, which have immensely different protein profiles from high protein vegetables and seeds and nuts, etc. So that's my point, is the amino acid profiles, particularly like, for example, soy has an amino acid profile very similar to meat, as does seitan, which is essentially concentrated wheat gluten. And these vegetable-based proteins do not seem to decrease the human lifespan. In fact, they seem to increase the human lifespan. As for exercise, a lot of people like to say that exercise does not promote longevity. Now, while exercise might not promote an increase in maximum lifespan, it might help you get there. And the reason why is because exercise does decrease frailty, whether it's aerobic exercise or strength training exercise. It does decrease frailty, and it does decrease the instances of things like heart disease, diabetes, etc. That's another thing that branched-chain amino acids, particularly leucine, seem to be protective against, is diabetes and prediabetes and metabolic syndrome. So, and also a high-protein diet seems to be protective against this. Now, talking about generally high-protein diets combined with vigorous exercise, Frank Zane, the chemist as he was known back when he was a bodybuilder, did a quick little scribble now that he's in his 70s about how long do bodybuilders live. And classic bodybuilders do seem to live, on average, much longer than the general population, probably due to their prudent diets and their vigorous physical exercise, vigorous strength training and vigorous aerobic activity, which are two things that were very common in classic bodybuilding. So I do think, and there's links to all this in the description, I do think that exercise combined with a prudent diet is extremely important to achieving maximum lifespan, because it's the only way you're going to get there, it seems. So, as I've stated, the use of a high-protein diet has many benefits, particularly on, this is the thing, so a high-protein diet has many benefits, metabolically speaking, at keeping one at a nice weight and things of that nature. Dr. Robert C. Atkins, in the book The Atkins Age-Defying Diet, explains why he was not in favor of caloric restriction, because he didn't believe that caloric restriction, nobody understood the mechanism of why caloric restriction worked, and they still don't. So his view was that probably the way caloric restriction worked is it kept animals at a healthy weight, which increased lifespan, and as he said, mice are not men, or mice are not people. Now we know from the study of rhesus monkeys that it does not necessarily extend the lifespan of rhesus monkeys. However, there's other variables with the feed. Some of the feed was not necessarily the most nutritionally balanced, so that may have played a role in why some of the monkeys didn't live as long as they thought, because remember, it's not just caloric restriction, it's caloric restriction with micronutrient optimization. So the study could have been flawed too. There might have been other variables, but that seems kind of silly to do research for that frickin' long and then not take that into consideration when that was a factor that was originally proposed by Dr. Roy Walford, the creator of the concept of caloric restriction with optimal nutrition. So that to me seems like a really stupid mistake on the part of the researchers to not make sure the feed was properly supplemented and things of that nature. So that's that. However, to quote Dr. Atkins, though, it might be that the metabolic benefits of caloric restriction, which are similar to the metabolic benefits of a moderate carbohydrate, high protein, healthy fat diet as proposed by Dr. Atkins and the Dr. Atkins age-defying diet, or the zone diet, which is another popular diet, particularly the soy zone, I think might be what people are interested in, might be beneficial. I also, the diet that I tend to follow is a more high-protein Okinawan-style diet, or like a blue zone style diet, but with a lot more plant protein in it, okay? A lot more tofu, a lot more beans, a lot more lentils, a lot of that stuff. And I do eat the sea vegetables for the micro minerals that are present in the sea vegetables, so especially nori. I eat a lot of nori. I'm a big fan of the macrobiotic diet by Michio Kushi, and I do recommend people read the macrobiotic diet by Michio Kushi. I also recommend people read the Okinawan Protocol by the Wilcox brothers, okay? So I think they're very important, probably two of the most important books. The China study is another important book, because what the China study shows is that it's not simply protein that's the cause of these issues, but animal protein. Now, we might not understand the exact mechanisms, but it's animal protein, not plant protein, that's correlated to a decrease in overall human lifespan. It's not protein in general. So it's not necessarily the branched chain amino acids. The branched chain amino acids are obviously present in soy protein, obviously present in wheat protein, obviously present in the various legumes, obviously present in various vegetables. The branched chain amino acids are present in other protein food sources like pumpkin seeds and things of this nature. So I'm highly skeptical of the concept that it's the branched chain amino acids, particularly because these branched chain amino acids help to prevent a lot of disease. And I want to close by saying I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, nothing like that, so this is not medical advice, but I wanted to make this video. Please do check the links in the description. I hope people have enjoyed the video, and that's all for this video.